The fight for a single electoral vote in the state of Nebraska could decide the election. What is up, people of the internet? It is me, Real American, back in with a new video. Today, it is time to talk about the 2024 presidential election because everyone, we have a significant update out of the state of Nebraska over the Electoral College. And for those that don't know, Nebraska is one of two states that separates their electoral votes by congressional district. So if Biden were to win Nebraska second, he would get a single electoral vote. And if Trump wins the other two districts, he gets the other two electoral votes. He wins statewide, he gets the other two. But point is, this is a significant fight, and you do some basic math and you realize, hey, wait a minute. This single electoral vote could decide the election. And it appears the Republican Party in Nebraska, they're still trying to get this changed. Now, before we continue with today's video, I hope you enjoy these type of videos. If you do, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Again, folks, all support is greatly appreciated, and yeah. Now, let us get right into it. Omaha is a blue dot in a sea of Nebraska red, which is precisely why Donald Trump and his allies are furiously fighting to change the state system of awarding electoral votes in presidential elections. Even after the Nebraska legislature closed the door on a pressure campaign intended to keep President Biden from winning one of the state's 5 electoral votes, as he did in 2020 by carrying the Omaha-anchored 2nd District, Trump loyalists are pledging to keep the effort alive. We are going to keep on pushing and keep on pushing and keep on pushing until Nebraska gets winner take all, said conservative activist Charlie Kirk, who appeared alongside several state Republican officials here Tuesday to rally support for the change. Nebraska could pick a president. So, for those that forgot or don't know about it, the Nebraska Republicans, they had an opportunity to change the law like 2 weeks ago. They failed. Hell, a majority of the Republicans in the state legislature voted against changing the system. Now, on paper, why is this a big deal? Like, why are they fighting over one district? Like I said, it could decide the election. Alright, so this is the map if we use 2020 results. And let's just say Trump wins Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada. Well, look at that. Trump would be at 268. If he wins Nebraska second, let's say they make it winner take all, he would be at 269. In other words, instead of Biden winning, it would be tied and sent to the House. And based on how the House does tied electoral votes, Trump would more than likely be the president. This is a big deal. This is why people are suddenly saying, hey, wait a minute. This is a big problem. Like, we could theoretically win Georgia, Arizona, Nevada, but still lose because of Nebraska's system. Now, this is a very unlikely scenario, but do you really want to risk it? Because what's stopping Trump from doing way better in the Sun Belt, but he might do a little bit worse than expected in the Rust Belt? It's unlikely, like I've said, but there is that possibility where that happens. And that's why people like Charlie Kirk, the Trump campaign, etc., they're trying to get this law changed to make Nebraska like the rest of the country. Nebraska Governor Jim Pillen, a Republican, said this week he was open to calling a special legislative session dedicated to making his state's presidential contest a winner-take-all affair, open assuring that Trump would collect a full lot of electoral votes. But Pillen said he would only do so when there's sufficient support in the legislature to pass it. The fact the Republicans now have a supermajority, so they got 2/3 of the state legislature, and they still won't pass this, or at least they won't pass it in the current session, is pathetic. Democrats, if they had a 1-seat majority, would pass this immediately if it benefited them. Like in Maine. If they got rid of the electoral system in Maine, like they currently got, it would give Biden an extra electoral vote. But the only reason they don't is because it's in the state constitution and they can't physically get rid of it. Here, the Republicans can. And for whatever reason, they just don't want to do it. It just baffles me. I don't get why they're so hesitant to change the law. It's Nebraska. It's an R+20 state. And Republicans want the law changed. So what the hell are you trying to do? Less than 7 months before the November election, the Republican-led effort to change election law in Nebraska, which Democrats have vowed to block, underscores the remarkably close nature of a Biden-Trump rematch and the precarious path to winning a majority in the Electoral College, or 270 electoral votes. Like I've said, this one electoral vote could be the difference between Trump being the president and Biden being the president. Granted, it's a very unlikely scenario, but this shows that Republicans are finally realizing, hey, wait a minute. There is a possibility Trump can sweep Georgia, Arizona, etc., but still lose. You have outsiders trying to change the rules. You can't do that, said Precious McKesson, the executive director of the Nebraska Democratic Party, who cast the state's lone electoral college vote for Biden and VP Kamala Harris in 2020. Republicans know that vote is very critical. Oh, boo-hoo, the outsiders are trying to change the rules. Oh, yeah, so like California, New York Democrats with every election? You won't say a word about that because, that's different because they're Democrats. But the second that a Republican or Republicans outside of the state say, hey, wait a minute, you should be like the rest of the country and change your electoral college system. Suddenly that's outsiders trying to change everything. That's a bad thing. Really? That's what your complaint is? That they're outsiders trying to change it? That's not even true. There are plenty of Republicans in Nebraska saying, change the system. And by the way, would you be saying a damn word if, say, Maine changed the law to make it winner take all? Would you? Of course not. You would say, no, that's different. That's democracy in action. We support this system. These people are so full of crap that they claim they support democracy and, we got to change the electoral college system to make it fair. But the second that a Republican tries to do the same thing they would do, it's the end of democracy, they're trying to rig the election, all that crap. Nebraska's one of two states, along with Maine, that divide electoral college votes by congressional district rather than statewide, winner-take-all rules. Now, I've always thought that this system was a decent idea. Like, okay, instead of making it winner-take-all for every state, why not we split it by congressional district? The problem is redistricting. The system makes sense if gerrymandering doesn't exist and you have districts that are fair, but the problem with this system is you can decide elections based on redistricting. And I don't like that idea. So I think the winner-take-all rules, which they're not perfect, I think that, making it winner-take-all like it currently is, you win by one vote and you win every single electoral vote. I don't think that's the best system, but at the same time, I think it's the only good system that we can have that doesn't involve redistricting, doesn't involve, one party can theoretically change the districts completely to get them an extra electoral vote here and there. I don't like that idea. Under the system, the statewide winner receives 2 electoral votes, and the rest are split, one apiece among the leading vote-getters in each district. As Biden did in Nebraska, Trump benefited from the system in Maine, a blue state where he won a single electoral vote in 2016 and 2020 despite losing statewide. It's hardly a far-fetched scenario that this year's presidential race could come down to a single electoral vote. Of this year's presidential battlegrounds, if Biden carries the so-called blue wall states of Wisconsin, Michigan, and Pennsylvania, and Trump wins Georgia, Arizona, and Nevada, the outcome of Nebraska's second could likely tip the balance and keep the race from ending in a 269-269 tie. In such a scenario, the House of Representatives would decide the winner. While Charlie Kirk implored Trump supporters to keep applying pressure on the governor and Republican lawmakers, it remains far from certain that such efforts will be successful, even in deep red Nebraska. And that's because Nebraska's a dumb system where there's a filibuster and you need 33 votes. And while Republicans do got the votes, technically, the one Republican that switched from the Democrat Party, he doesn't sound like he's going to support this. And that's the problem. But at that point, just change the freaking rules. Do you think Democrats would just sit back and do the same thing of just, we could get a single electoral vote, but this filibuster, we can't do anything about it. they would axe it the next day. Why can't Republicans do the same thing? The fact that you're in a deep red state like Nebraska, and you have Democrats that essentially could control the government by just filibustering everything, is pathetic. It's not about the Biden or Trump campaign. It's about democracy and whether or not we're willing to protect it, said Tony Vargas, a Democratic state senator who represents part of the 2nd District and is making a second bid for the seat this year. Nebraskans really care about this. It's why we protected it for so long. Bull crap. The vast majority of Republicans support getting rid of this. And this is an R+20 state. And the only reason this clown says it's about democracy is because of this. If Trump wins Nebraska second, in this scenario, he would be president. It's very unlikely, but it could happen. And if Biden wins Nebraska second, he's the president. Would he be saying the same thing about Maine if they changed their system? No. He would just say, oh, well, that's just democracy. That's different because it helps Biden. I mean, their logic here doesn't even make sense. What does this have to do about democracy? That doesn't even make sense because I thought the Electoral College was undemocratic. I thought that, oh, we have to abolish it. We got to get rid of it. But you're saying this is about democracy now? You see, they flip-flop on it daily because one day the popular vote benefits Biden, but here the Electoral College benefits Biden. If it benefited Trump, oh, get rid of the Electoral College, get rid of this system. But if it helps Biden, no, keep it. Talk about principles. I mean, Republicans care so much about that, but Democrats don't care. They would give up everything they believe in if it meant Democrats win. They don't care about principles. They don't care about any of that crap. They only care about winning. And the Republican Party should have the same philosophy. We're going to win this election. We're going to change the law in Nebraska so Trump gets an extra electoral vote. Democrats would do the same thing in Maine if they had the power to do it. But right now, they don't. So change the damn system. There's no reason not to. What backlash? You're in Nebraska. This is a Trump +20 state. The only backlash is from Omaha. But they don't represent the entire state. Either way, we just got to see what happens here. I am glad they're keeping the pressure up, but I highly doubt it passes just because Republicans in Nebraska, at least in the legislature, they're pathetic. Even the statewide party is saying, change the law. But these clowns, for whatever reason, are using, well, we can't because principles. Bull crap, you're lazy. Or you don't want to give Trump an extra electoral vote. Anyways, folks, thank you so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy this video, smash the like button down below, subscribe, share with your friends, hit that little bell, follow the social media accounts in the description down below, and of course, join the channel today. Godspeed to all of you.